Welcome to Bullman Built RC. I am Matt, your favorite RC YouTuber's least favorite RC YouTuber. Today I got some stuff for my show truck project thing, and so I am going to start doing all of that. I have some different parts, and I've got some swapping parts, and I've got all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to open that up, look at some of it, do some part swapping, and then we'll actually start putting things onto the chassis that they're going to go on. So here we go. Most importantly was the TCI R4 transmission. That is going to go in here, such as something like that. Now, if you did not know, I also have the RC 4-wheel drive scale aluminum engine that I got from the YJ project that I picked up a couple weeks ago. So I am going to take that and also put that in front of the R4 and then put that in here. Now, to make that all work, I will need these TF2 V8 engine mount parts. So this is for a Trailfinder 2 V8 engine mounts, part number Z-S1239. So supposedly this will make all of this work. I don't know, I've never done it before, but I'm going to put it in there. So to make that look better as well, I also got part number Z-S1537, the RC 4-wheel drive pulley with belt for V8 scale engine kit. I do have the timing cover already, but everything else was gone. So I just went ahead and said the hell with it, and I bought this thing. I do need a few more parts, but those are on the way as well. So once those get here, I will continue to build those on. Maybe later in this video, may not, I'm not real sure. Then to follow that up, I got the Super Lift adjustable steering stabilizer. That's gonna look better than this rod and all this other stuff here. A little more realistic for what I'm going for. Then, to make sure that I have to extend that out as far as possible, and probably would ride like a log wagon once I got done if it was real, I also bought some of these springs off of Amazon. I don't know exactly what these are. They kind of look like these springs that are on there, but they are arched way more than what is here. They're really cheap. If they don't work, it just kind of is what it is. But I wanted to go ahead and try while I could. So I got those. Next. Now, I did get some shock boots a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't sold on the red, so I went ahead and bought blue. I got enough to do a bazillion friggin' shocks, and you know, I think I ordered too many, but that's okay. I got a bunch of those. Next! Now, I do plan on possibly maybe doing some sort of tilt forward front end on this, maybe a tilt bed. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I did know that if I do the tilt forward front end, I want a radiator in this thing. So I went ahead and bought part number ZS1773, the RC 4-wheel drive radiator and hose for V8 motor. So that little bad mammer jammer is going to sit somewhere in there, something like, and we'll do the thing. I don't know what it does yet, but we're going to figure that out. Next, something that may not actually end up on this, but I kind of figured maybe, sort of, who knows, is I got the CC Hand GMC grill. This is not the nicest, like with the chrome grill, but it is probably one of the most expensive grills. So technically this should go on like a really nice truck, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I want this to have that kind of look to it. So this may go on something else. It could go on my turquoise crew cab or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I got it. I figure it kind of goes with this. It may end up on it, and I'd show you. So there it is. Next, I got some TSL Thornbird 1.9s. These are 4.75-ish, 4.65, something along those lines. These are what is going to probably end up going on this truck. I already have a set of Baja belted, and they're on the turquoise and white crew cab. I'm not 100% sure exactly how I want to go. I do have the tire in mind that I would love to put on this thing that would be period correct, but RC 4-wheel drive does not make it, and I can't find it in any other way other than using a different tire that's not exactly the same, and I don't want it. So I went ahead and bought these. They're not cheap, but they're not exactly like super expensive. So if I do end up not using them, or if I do end up using it, whatever, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. I'll just put it on there, and if I pull them off later, I pull them off later. It is what it is. I've got 30 sets of tires over here, so what is one more, right? Next, I got a box from my friend Jared. He bought a truck and hit me up and said, hey, what are these wheels? I told him. He was like, I don't know if I like those and if they're my style. And I was like, well, if you want to get rid of them once you get the truck, just go ahead and hit me up. So he did exactly that. He and I came to a very agreeable price, and then these were on their way. I got a little scared when they were in Indy for like a day or two, but they eventually came, so it's not that bad. What is that? Dryer sheets? This is a first for me for packing material. It looks like dryer sheets in like monstrous sheet. I don't know what that is. Maybe Jared can comment and tell me what that is, or maybe you guys know. It's not tissue paper. It literally feels like dryer sheets. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, on to the actual piece, I guess. I don't know. Holy shit, those are heavy. Oof. These are 1.9 by, I believe, like 1.8 or 1.75, something along those lines. All right around the same size as all the welds that I've been getting. So I picked these up from him. They were a little bit cheaper than what they would have been brand new. Plus they come with tires. And the only problem one of them has, he said, is one of them has a little bit of curb rash somewhere. So they really haven't been driven. Yeah, a couple of them have just little tiny nicks. You won't even really be able to tell. So what I am going to do with these is I'll probably put some music on. I'll take these tires off, put the Thornbirds on, and then I will probably put the springs on this. And once I do that, I will probably swap the wheels and tires on here. And then I will start doing V8 swapping pieces and parts and jazz. But I will come back to you guys and kind of let you know how that's going and what's going on and everything like that. So I'm going to jam some music and put this in high speed. And here we go. So I did get as far as I could. There are some things that are not working, and then there are some things that actually worked really, really nicely. So first off, I got the wheels. These are actually DSP. I can't remember what they're called, like Koas or something like that. Basically, you know what they're supposed to look like. But they do have the scale hardware, and then I put the scale hubs on them as well, front and rear. So the front looks like a locker. The rear kind of looks like a wonton-ish or so. This is not the body that's going to go on it, obviously. This is just another body that I have that I'm kind of working on. Not real sure where it is going to go, but I just put it on there just for looks. The rear axle needs to go back a little bit, so I will probably mess with that a little. And then I think the front needs to go forward just a smidge, which I need to probably put the A&M style brackets on the front, put the shackles in the rear, kind of get that a little more realistic. So here's what actually kind of went down, I guess is what we should say. So everything pretty much went to plan. The motor went into the scale engine, and then that hooked to the R4 transmission, and then the new coupler went straight to the transfer case with the mount. No problems there. The problem came from installing this pulley kit, for one, because the cover that I got is not tapped, or it's threaded wrong, or I don't know. I couldn't find a bolt that actually threaded into it. 1.5 was too small. 2mm seemed too big, and then I just had all these random ass little bolts and nothing worked, and I ended up breaking one of them off because I was trying to just thread it in there. So I went ahead and got the other one that was on here, drilled it out, put a washer in behind it with another bolt, and then ran it all the way in. Kind of a pain in the ass. But it's in, and everything lines up as far as the pulleys go. It should go back a little farther, but I'm not pulling it back apart and taking one more washer out. It's not that deep. So there's nowhere for the servo to go. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do there. I'll probably dig around on Facebook and see exactly what everybody else is doing, because once I put the radiator in and then the pulleys, there was nowhere for the servo, and I haven't had any time to build anything, and then also just everything that I saw was just not going to work. So that's pretty much where I'm at. The front shocks, I am looking for the dual shock hoops for this thing. Everybody pretty much says they're almost impossible to find. I did find a guy on Facebook that had some, and he never replied to me, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. The suspension did not go the way that I really wanted it to. I can't find the bag of blocks that I have, so I pretty much just took some blocks off of some other things and used those. So the rear has a taller block, I can't remember what, the 3mm or whatever it is, under the angled blocks to kick the pinion up. I'll probably undo that because I don't like it long term. The front has just the 3mm stacked blocks because I could not find anything else, and nothing else was big enough. I kept putting the tires on and then putting a body on, and it was just way too low for this size tire. So I had to keep stacking. I don't really like that option. However, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably going to make some custom hangers and then get some bigger shackles and kind of do both ends that way, because even though I do like twisted fab stuff, it's easier for me to make some drop mounts and then use these same leaf springs. Speaking of leaf springs, the ones that I bought actually didn't end up working. When you put them on there and then flatten them with the blocks, everything kind of flattens back out, and they are the same exact arch as the factory springs. So on top of the blocks, what I also did was took all of the springs out of that pack other than the main leaf and then stuffed them under this spring. Doesn't do a lot. It does look a little better, and I mean, it gave me probably another, I don't know, millimeter or two of clearance, which isn't a whole lot, but when it's got 4 or 5 leaves as opposed to 1 or maybe 2, anything's going to help at this point. That being said, the front shock tower is pretty much unobtainium. I can't find one anywhere, and I'm going to have to make something. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to probably end up making my own shock tower with the dual mounts and then putting them both on there. That's why the shocks aren't mounted, and then this one's actually still flopping because I've just been busy. I'm still getting ready for Beat the Creek, so that pretty much wraps it up. I got lifted and motorized, and that's about it. So I thoroughly appreciate you watching. I will see you later. Bye!